because you have a few slides that you can show us to show us what Holland is doing well and what we're not doing well. Let's start with what we're doing right. We're doing a lot of things right. We have some data here. We're looking at the role of young entrepreneurs and the economic growth. If you look at Holland and young entrepreneurs, they're not very important. These people are not important for the employment, but make. This is Holland. On this side, you see in the last 10 years, there was 60% of the growth of employment is from young businesses that are less than 5 years old. These are entrepreneurs that have to do with the internet. So the role of the internet has facilitated this and to facilitate young companies. I think Holland is doing really well in this area. I think we're doing better than other countries. Is this true? Yes, I think Holland is. We see that a lot of companies in other areas are playing a really important role. Of course, it's also relative, because you can also say bigger companies, older companies have not done so well. Maybe so that has another explanation. But how does it possible that older companies, are they doing better with the internet? Or maybe you've seen that with the last years of the crisis, bigger companies have been thinking more about, are we going to employ more people? They have processes in place within the company that they've outsourced to smaller companies. So you can see a growth in the smaller companies and not so much in the bigger ones. But the nice thing is that you can see this in the next slide. With the crisis over the next 10 years, the growth also in the younger enterprises has gone on. So you can see the green points where the young companies that are less than 5 years, even in a bad time of crisis, they still are growing and they're still employing people, whereas older companies have jobs have been lost. So this is what to say how important younger companies. So these younger companies are less than 5 years. A lot of them are startups, but you can have bigger companies that are younger or companies that are merged. They're not just startups, but they are playing an important role. Internet is very important in this. I think what we're going to look at today as well, what we can do new for these companies. I think also by outsourcing processes, this can play a very important role. And also deliveries, for instance, where Amazon can play a role. These kinds of processes are very important. And this is going to generate new possibilities for the internet. I don't speak that much Dutch anymore, but you're doing very well. I'm trying to see how does it work when you are going to Amazon and they have this process where you see products that you've ordered and maybe are encouraged to buy a new product. Yes, this is the force of the internet, linking and connecting. I think where this is concerned, there's a lot of new companies that we still have to look forward to. The discussion that we are having at the moment about data that we can generate through the internet and create new possibilities. This whole integration. A concrete example is, for example, how much data is accumulated by TomTom and other companies. For example, GPS data, and accumulates this, and this creates new possibilities for other companies. And we're looking at how can we do this and how can we use this. And as a new company, what kind of possibilities does it generate for us? So there are a lot of possibilities that we have to look forward to. Some people have said the internet is coming to an end as information technology, but I think it still has a future, and you can't predict this. Can you say something about what is something that we should probably have in 5 years, or something that is not completely normal that maybe surprises us now? Maybe we can talk about this later as well, but maybe Google Car, this is perhaps that we will less work with chauffeurs, but that we will use a different possibility. This is a new development that we might have. We're not in a business of predicting. We would like to focus on the technology. There's so much insecurity. But you can talk about expectations, but we don't always meet the expectations. We would like to look at new possibilities and to be open to what's going to happen in the future. You've mentioned a few things that we are doing well. We're in Holland, young companies and stimulating employment, etc., and how we use the internet. But some things are not going well. Yes, this is true. A few things we need to think about: processes and what are possibilities. Rules are important. We're often looking at how easy it is to start a company. This is not a problem in Holland anymore because it's very quick to start a new company. But sometimes it could be a problem to be failing of new companies. The best entrepreneurs are usually people who have failed in the past and have started again because they've learned from this. And then so maybe you can do it again. If we make it too difficult to fail, for instance, the rules behind bankruptcy, this could be a problem for startup entrepreneurs. At the moment, it's difficult for entrepreneurs to get back on track. Yes, this is a problem in many European countries. Holland's doing a little bit better than other countries. In the south of Europe, there's more problems. But these are areas that we could look at and that we can help improve. It's not just the startup of the companies, it's also the growth of the companies and making it possible for these companies to grow. And sometimes these things fail. A second point is the funding of companies, of internet companies, often risk companies. You need to have risk capital. Holland is a bit behind on this. If we look at, for instance, the Nordic countries like Sweden, Denmark, also England, they're doing a lot better at the moment. They have a better developed market for this. This is the problem of the banks. No, it's not always the banks. It's not so much the banks who meddle in this, but there's a special market for equity capital, where banks say, for instance, it's too much risk, we're not going to interfere. Holland still has problems that we have too little dynamics in this area. Who has to do something about this? The government can play a role in this, but you have to be very careful because you shouldn't invest too much public money. But you have to look at where are the problems and where do they come from. Sometimes, partly, they are from the fact that we don't have enough good ideas for bigger projects, or maybe not enough entrepreneurs that have enough experience to have a good business plan. So these are things that we need to look at. A third point is the whole discussion about innovation. A big chunk of the internet is originally from public research. A long time ago, especially in the United States, the internet came from there. So the government needs to invest money in this and in the development of this and in the better ideas. We need to support these ideas and we need to make them more effective. The Dutch investors are doing this all right, but internationally we could probably improve this and see maybe we can get more out of it. So the culture for the entrepreneurs needs to be looked at, the link between the entrepreneurs and the structure and the culture for the entrepreneurs. We do a lot of surveys, international surveys, where we look at different countries and make comparisons. And you see that in the Dutch education, a lot of people from the education don't feel that they really have learned that much about entrepreneurial possibilities. So we need to look at how we can make people feel at a younger age, maybe this is something for me to do something with. And the last point is education. I've said that the policy for a dynamic economy is also a economy where there's a lot of change. Some enterprises are doing really well, some companies are not doing so well, but there are also sectors in economies where there's a lot of problems and money is going lost. So you need to give people the possibility to go to more jobs and you need to look at the education and to make people more skilled and help people to find a new job. the internet is the most important. Internet plays a really important role. This is actually the new economy. Yes, very well. Thank you very much.